Drive a Honda Civic Type R TCR right now! Okay, kinda. Greetings Romy, you're watching RomRom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing. Today we're once again reviewing a sim racing product that could interest you. Thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe, and even more, our patrons. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. This is Cube Control's translation of the wheel they built for the Honda Civic Type R TCR into the sim racing world. It's different, of course. As you can see, in comparison to the TCR wheel, it has a display embedded and it's big, with either 300 or 320 millimeters based on the handles you choose, and it's got a lot of blinking lights. Pretty! I fell in love with this wheel when Cube Control showed it to us at the Sim Formula Europe, and they were kind enough to lend us a wheel for us to test and review, so let me tell you about it, and at the end of the video let you know if you should buy it or not. This wheel is cable based and it takes all the needed energy for the display and the LEDs from the USB connection, which also handles the communication with the computer. The cable is not very long, so you should rather have your computer nearby or a USB hub or extension ready. Contrary to what we have heard some people say, I had no issues whatsoever using the cable while connected to a USB hub. Contrary to what I was expecting, the cable was not a problem. It wasn't in the way while driving, nor did it disconnect even once. While I prefer to use wheels with batteries like my everyday wheel, the Cube Control's F Pro, I can say that using this cable-bound version was not the hassle I expected it to be. You can set up the colors of the buttons one by one or all at once with the Cube Control software or, and that would be my recommendation, by using SimHub. It's also through SimHub that you can choose alternative display configurations, and the best way to feed the display with information is by using SimHub. And while I agree SimHub looks daunting and even downright scary on first use, once you know where to click, it's a great help for anything sim racing, and for €5 USD it's an incredible bargain. Back to the display. In use, the display is crisp and easy to read, the colors look vibrant and the display has great contrast. It is, by the way, a touchscreen, but I would not use it during a race as I most assuredly would be pressing in the wrong places, especially when wearing gloves. Personally, it's a functionality I do not care for, but it may be interesting to you or even be the one functionality that convinces you to buy it. Not only can you, as I said, configure the colors of the buttons, but you can also configure what the LEDs above and at the sides of the display will do. I've seen people using the side displays as a spotter, telling you when there are other cars nearby. I've seen people using them as flag information. With SimHub you can do a lot of things, and Cube Controls allows you to do anything you want. As I said, this wheel is big. It's too big for my liking, but that is a question of taste. It's the same issue I have with road cars, which steering wheels I find much too big, so yeah, definitely a question of personal taste. That said, the upper buttons were easily reachable with my thumbs, as were the rotaries and the funky switches when not used as rotaries. The lower buttons and of course the rotaries need you to leave the grip of one side of the wheel. Despite its size, I found the wheel quite easy to handle. Speaking about the buttons, the GTX2 offers 10 buttons, 2 funky switches, which you can use as rotary as kind of a joystick and which you can press, 3 full-blown rotaries at the front plus 2 at your thumbs, 2 on-off switches at the front, and 2 switches that revert to the middle position once activated can be found at the back of the wheel. We'll speak about the paddles in a minute. The buttons and rotaries give great feedback while not being hard to use. You can press them easily and you will know from the tactile feedback alone that you did, even when using gloves. The 2 switches at the back were not in the way and can be set up easily for small on-off things like wipers or flashing the lights or some such. They are for sure a nice add-on. There is also an on-off switch that you can use to turn the wheel off even when the cable is connected. I find it easier to just disconnect the cable, but Cube Controls offers that option, and options are always a good thing. The wheel comes with a set of clutch paddles as well as shifting paddles. The clutch paddles are easy to use on their own, but I had to grow accustomed to using clutch paddles as this is the first time I had the opportunity to do so. The immersion is bigger, the feeling of real race driving is bigger, but you won't use them that much. Mostly you'll use them at race starts or restarts and then not use them again for the whole race, just like in real life. I'm not sure they make me faster, but truth to be told, only a miracle could make me faster. You can adjust the clutch bite point mechanically and in the software. All the paddles felt good, even if I'd make the shifters maybe a bit stronger, but that's personal preference and shifting was not an issue. We of course could not test the paddles on long term, but again, we expect, based on past experience with Cube Controls, that the paddles will last a long time. The stickers are okay and attach perfectly. I normally don't use stickers, but the wheel we got lent by Cube Controls for this review already had them attached, so that gave us the opportunity to mistreat them. When you buy the wheel, you can choose the color of the lower cover. And other than black, any other color costs €50 on top. You will not be able to change the color and you cannot buy these covers separately so as to change them at a whim. The same is true for the back. You can buy it in standard black, and if you prefer to get it in blue, you will pay about €15 extra. Is it worth the price of €1,400? You know, that's difficult to answer. Of course, you get Cube Controls quality. Based on my past experience with the wheels, I can say they withstand anything you throw at them, and you buy something that you can use daily for a long time. The Cube Controls software is kind of a weak point, and Cube Controls themselves must have felt similarly, as you can set up this wheel completely through SimHub, not only the colors and the display. The only thing you would need the Cube Control software for would be updating the firmware of the wheel. The wheel itself felt good in my hands, the buttons are well crafted and great to use, and all in all, the ergonomics of this wheel are really good. While driving, I completely forgot its size. The grip is grippy and nice to the touch. One thing I'd recommend is driving with the wheel a couple of races before deciding which button does what, depending on how well you reach the buttons. All in all, you really get great quality with this wheel, and the price is in line with what similar wheels cost. We're dismissing Chinese knockoffs for obvious reasons. But in the end, only you can decide if you're willing and able to pay €1,400 to €1,600 USD for a racing wheel. Only thing I can tell you is that I got the impression this wheel here is high quality, and that always costs something. Designing, developing and producing quality takes time, effort and money. You will most assuredly get what you pay for with this wheel.